All right. Well, an interesting story here. There's few wineries. We like to feature wineries that are making wines with passion, people that have unique stories. And Jason Moore left his home in the state of Texas at age 23, selling everything he had, which wasn't much, with his wife, to move to California to go to UC Davis to study making wine. Well, once he got there, well, maybe the tuition was more than he expected. He figured, you know what, I'm going to become the mentor student and work my way through this and learn how to make wine. A very amicable task, very difficult indeed. But, some of his mentors, he had Bob Foley, Viaders, John Berlin, Michael Havens, just to name a few. And, after speaking to this guy about wine for 20 minutes, you can tell he's got the dedication and passion, to do what it takes to make great wine. And the three wines we had are all of them worthy of being on my shelf. Well, the Modus Operandi Sauvignon Blanc from Rutherford, really nice Sauvignon Blanc here. A lot of weight, a lot of complexity to the bouquet, some nice minerality, some wet stone there, some fig and white grapefruit. Really complex on the tongue. Sauvignon Blanc to me should have this lovely weight on the palate. The great ones of Bordeaux do anyways. The ones that are, to me, great Sauvignon Blancs, not the stuff you get in New Zealand that's got this, tutti fruity fruit cocktail stuff. Even though this wine had a little bit of that tutti fruitiness to it, had lovely texture on the palate and a long, fresh finish. Leave the tongue salivating for food. Excellent Sauvignon Blanc here. All right, well, the Pinot Noir from the Santa Lucia Highlands. We went from Rutherford down to the Santa Lucia Highlands because this guy doesn't own grapes. He's just buying juice. And lots of dark berry fruit in this Pinot. Santa Lucia Highlands is a really cool area in the Monterey Peninsula. Black raspberry fruit fermented in 1-ton fermenters. So he took very small lots to study what happens, when you ferment the wine slightly different, put it in different oak, or do just something slightly different in the process. Very smart. That way you can have kind of 5 vintages in one. You only get one chance to make wine every year. So, and then he blends these together. So a really interesting bouquet, some smoky bacon fat, exotic spices, but big on the palate, lovely amount of black spice and nuance and black raspberry fruit. Even though pretty big though, has some elegance and finesse and really shows a lot of that exotic spice coming through on the finish with the lovely savoriness. Excellent Pinot Noir also. And then Modus Operandi Cabernet from Napa. Only 180 cases produced, and most of this fruit comes from Coombsville and the Oak Knoll Vineyard, so a cooler area in Napa. Obviously, this guy likes more European, more refined style wines. Lovely notes of cigar box spice, fresh black earth, made at Alpha Omega Winery. He used to use this place called Great Box, but he said they got a little bit uptight about him wanting to do things like open top fermenting. And, he says these people here pretty much have a similar philosophy as he does. Do whatever it takes to make the best wine, no matter how messy you're going to get. Well, like I said, you only get one chance a year after you make it. It pretty much just sits in barrels for the rest of the time until you bottle it. So this wine had some lovely toasty oak, some lovely cassis and black cherry fruit showing on the tongue, smooth and polished with layers of that fruit and that spice echoing through the finish. And again, lovely freshness here. Really nice balance. $78, maybe a little steep, but hey, it only makes 178 cases. Great stuff. The Modus Operandi Sauvignon Blanc will be in the store next week. All right, next up, finally getting to our Brunello tasting that happened last night at Cafe Max.